What's up, guys? My name is Skylar, and welcome back to the channel. I really do appreciate you guys showing up and checking out my content. It's really awesome to see a little community almost growing, and let's see what else happens in this. I'm very excited to show some news to you guys and keep you guys informed so that you guys know what's going on in the technology field and in the gaming industry. So I really do appreciate you checking out the video, and let's go ahead and jump into it. So we all know that for the past decade almost, that GameStop sales have just been plummeting. I mean, I'm not okay. I'm not a hater of GameStop. I remember, and I'll never forget, when I was 12 years old, they had just built a GameStop in my little area. It was a very small town, and we didn't have much in the small town besides like a hospital and two high schools. And they had built a GameStop because that's how like the whole place was moving up in financial status. So right next to like the Publix, which is a East Coast Walmart, it's more of a Southern Walmart. Right next to the Publix, they had built a GameStop, and I remember going in, and it was a kid's dream. Like I remember just seeing games just everywhere, memorabilia everywhere, from like the Atari to like the Xbox games to like the PS2 games. It was absolutely wild. There were games all over the shelves. I didn't know what to do with myself, and from there I bought Halo, and I lost it completely. Like I was always on Halo. I was always playing Halo for the Xbox, and it was all because of GameStop, where I actually realized that I was a huge gamer. So, it's unfortunate to see GameStop dying away, but ultimately in the business world, in the business sector, it's survival of the fittest. GameStop has continually not produced and has continually not tried to be on the customer's side. Me going to GameStop, I actually went to GameStop a couple of weeks back. It was more like 2 weeks back. I went to go to GameStop because I have a 360, and I was looking into some 360 games, and I was going to buy Assassin's Creed 3, and GameStop was trying to sell that for 17.95. Turns out, luckily enough, I didn't buy it. Turns out that there's a gaming store, an independently owned gaming store, right up the street from that GameStop, that was selling Xbox, like vintage games, like Nintendo games, Nintendo GameCube games, Game Boy games, PS1 games, PS2 games, Xbox games, Xbox 360 games. You know what I'm saying? Even all the way up to the PS4, right? And I went and I looked up. I got Assassin's Creed, I got Splinter Cell Blacklist, I got Skyrim, and I got Gears of War 3, all for $20. It was almost 4.90. It was like 4.99 or 3.99 a game. It was outrageous. You know, GameStop's GameStop isn't changing the way it should. But I'm going too deep into it. I'm going way too deep into it. I haven't even read the article for you guys yet. But apparently, with the release of Xbox Series X and the PS5, with their backwards compatibility, it could be expected that GameStop could be going up. The backwards compatibility could benefit GameStop. It should, matter of fact, it's not even like a guess. It should benefit GameStop, which is a little interesting because I still think that, like I said before, I went into an independently owned game game console retailer, and they were selling these games for a fraction of the price of what GameStop was selling these vintage games. Now I'm in good spirit for GameStop, because it's been a long time in the making. They've had some really bad press, and they haven't really regained their kind of reign that they had on the gaming world. I mean, I remember when Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 came out. I was in line with all my friends. We were all in line just waiting for that 12 o'clock hour to hit, that midnight hour, so that I could pick up my games on Tuesday night, on a school night, so I can pick up my Modern Warfare. We were all hanging out, we were all talking, we were all having fun. pick up my Modern Warfare, pick up some pizza from Little Caesars, head back, and we'd all just game for the whole night. I'd probably call in, or I'd probably skip school. Just don't tell my parents I said that. You know, it was those were the days when I think that gaming was at its peak time. Gaming on a community local level. Now everything's online. Everything's just you can't even see the person that you're talking to. You don't even know who you're talking to. Honestly, it could be anybody. And it's not to say that online gaming is a bad thing. I love online gaming because it gives so much opportunity to everybody. It's just that with online gaming, there's a lack of local dynamic unless you're already in a public setting, such as public schools. That's why kids tend to be on games a lot more than adults. But, adults own the market because we're able to buy everything. What a time to be alive in that we even have the option to buy games purely online. Like, we didn't have this type of idea to ever even exist, not even 10 years ago. You would have to go to a GameStop, you'd have to buy a CD, a physical copy disc, and then from there, you'd have to put it into your console and be able to play it. And oh my gosh, God forbid you remember the times where we actually had to download the game before we can even play it. I haven't been on a console in a minute, but I don't think that's what's happening anymore. I don't think you have to. I mean, I could be wrong. Let me know if I'm wrong or not. But I literally stopped playing once we had to download games just to play them. It did not make sense for me. And that was a big like PS3 thing. Like to download the game before you actually get to play it. I understand it's so that you can get the best graphical gameplay, but it was also a big DRM issue so that people wouldn't be pirating games online and trying to burn it onto a CD. It actually had to have a product key, and then from there, in order to be played, it had to be purchased. Now, that worst idea ever. It was, oh my gosh, that was absolutely terrible. I'm a huge fan of making things easy as possible. Simplifying the process. And I'm a big believer in the streaming world. I'm a big believer in the streaming gaming world strictly because it makes things simple. I don't have to pay $60 just to buy a game and then hopefully resell it for like $40. That's a $20 loss in profit. I can just pay $10 a month, and I haven't gotten the Stadia yet. I actually just ordered it, so I'm excited to see how it looks when it comes over to me. But I can just pay $9.99 a month, and then from there I get access to a whole bunch of games. Xbox has been doing it with their Xbox game market. I don't know what it's called, but it's a streaming market where you can play older games for a fee on top of the Xbox Live, which is absolutely stupid. They should add the feature, the streaming feature. They should add it with the membership. Like you shouldn't have to pay two separate costs. And correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know because I don't play Xbox right now. I don't know necessarily if this is fully true, but to my understanding, you do have to pay a fee on top of the membership that you already have, which is absolutely ridiculous. Same thing with with Sony right now. You have to pay a fee in order to actually play older games, through a streaming service on top of the membership that you're already paying. Hey, why don't hey, I'm already paying you guys to play online. Let's pay you guys again so I can play older games. That is absolutely outrageous. Like it should to play anything that's already outdated and probably doesn't even have a community on it to be able to play with. And so I'm just experiencing the storyline itself. I should only have to pay a one-time fee, and that should probably be. And if I'm going to pay a monthly fee, it should be included in the subscription. That's just it. The monthly subscription that gives me the multiplayer, the access to deals. I shouldn't have to keep paying the gaming industry more and more money on top of on top of the money that I'm already spending in loot boxes, just to be getting more of the benefit. It should already come with a lot of benefit. But that's my rant on the online service. I think it's becoming a huge leap in the gaming industry, and I do believe that the way Google Stadia, the Google Stadia, the Nintendo Switch, Alienware UFO, all these new ideas that are coming out to make gaming portable and more accessible to the average consumer is a great idea, and it's progressing and pioneering the way, pioneering a street, an avenue for developers, for people in the industry to be able to make content more easily and more accessible to more people. I think it's a great idea. Now, going back to the GameStop interview, Sherman said the company expects sales to continue to slide for the foreseeable future, but the PS5 and Xbox Series X launches could help things turn around. GameStop is also cutting costs to improve profitability by closing stores and laying off employees. This is a big red flag. I don't, you know, if GameStop, it's so sad that GameStop has to lay off employees because it's not like they have that many employees in a store anyway. It's usually there's usually only like two people in a store any given day, and it's the same people. Like when I went into that GameStop 2 weeks ago, I had gone 6 months ago just to see what the prices were for some consoles, which I think are absolutely absurd, being that they're borderline 3 years old. You know, I went in and it was the same people. I've left where I'm at currently. I've gone and traveled. I just now came back a couple of months ago, and these same people were working at this same place. And I kudos to them for being able to keep a solid job, you know. But now, in order for the company to cut back and increase their profits, they have to lay off other employees, which it's a give and take process. Sometimes companies have to take more than they can give. Hopefully there's a good severance package. It's never nice to see a company with so much rich history, especially one of the pioneers in gaming, have to let go of people in order to raise their own bottom dollar. But it's just the way of the game. Um, I think I highly believe that the streaming service, although it's quite new for gaming, it's going to take over the market. And unless if GameStop comes up with a way to work with the streaming service, like if they partner up with Google or if they partner up with one of these guys, they're already selling the content, right? But if they partner up with some of these guys in the streaming area somehow, then maybe they might be able to survive. Kind of do like a what was that? What was that service where you would like rent a game? Let me see. Rent a game. Rent a CD game. What was that service called? There's Red GameFly. That's right. Redbox is something, but it's nothing like GameFly. I remember using GameFly too. That was a time where I would just get games in the mail out of nowhere just from renting them over here, and there's no late fees. But again, with something like this, it's kind of a dying breed unless if you're able to get these top-notch games. A lot of people want, and it's crazy how how that dichotomy is, because back in the day, a lot of people wanted physical copies of the games, but now we're moving into a trend where a lot of people want to have free space. They want to be able to not be cluttered with a whole bunch of different materials. We're moving into a materialless world. Everything is strictly digital, right? And so it's very interesting to see some of these old time, I guess old time now that they're more than a decade old. These old time competitors trying to compete in a market that's highly advanced. How does GameStop come back from this? Even though they might get a slight increase in profit from backwards compatibility, there's still independent owners that sell these games a dime for what they're actually worth compared to GameStop. GameStop will sell an Xbox 360 game right now for $25, and I can go to a different store and buy that game for $2.95. $2.95. How does that make sense? It doesn't. And yet these independent owners, they're independent, so they don't have to worry about being a franchise. They're not buying like massive product in bulk. And if they are, they only have a few copies of the latest games, and then from there they try to overturn it as quickly as possible. They already have the local community, so that the communities, and that's one of the biggest things, is the local community impact. They already have the locals, so locals are going to go to them instead of going to GameStop, because GameStop's going to charge an arm and a leg, and everybody knows that GameStop's going to charge an arm and a leg and give nothing in return after charging you an arm and a leg. The moment you buy that game, the value of it goes down by $20. How fair is that? Right. So it's like, you know, I think it's a great idea that GameStop is going to try to come and make its way back in. But how long is that going to go? How long is that going to last until GameStop flops completely? They show great promise, but ultimately this isn't. This is a very short term fix for a long term problem. But that's my rant on something like this. So apparently, backwards compatibility is going to be the thing that saves GameStop. Who knows? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I'd love to hear what you guys think. Like, follow, subscribe, and share. And until next time, my name is Skylar. And again, thank you guys for checking out the channel. I greatly appreciate it. You guys are awesome. And until next time, peace.